continue to talk about natural ways to create a happy body and a hot life. And today I invited my friend Tracy. Actually, Tracy's the one behind. You know, she's the force behind the She Says TV. So as we didn't have any other guests coming, I kind of told Tracy, let's be honest.
That's right. So I moved from there to over here.
Guys, remember, this is a really, like, we are like expert in TV, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to be on, so I can stay behind the camera, by all means, just email Chris.
Yeah, maybe Ryan that is behind the camera should come. No? Okay.
And I'll run the camera.
Yeah, but I loved our 3 first video blogs about love and romance. And we brought Jay Thomas, that he's a radio host, a guy's guy. And I loved what he said about how sometimes women, we don't appreciate and we don't express. And I'm gonna be honest, I do this few times. I want my husband to bring me flowers because that's my language of love. Like I said, everybody has your own. Mm-hmm. But sometimes instead of being appreciative, I became like the crabby wife and focusing in the little spot, like the wall that was here. How are you, Tracy, when it comes to romance and appreciate your husband? Because it looks like that's what they want, right? They don't want flowers, they want appreciation.
Yeah, that's what Jay said anyway a couple weeks ago in the blog.
Do you think your husband wants appreciation?
I think so, because my husband,
Of course everybody does, but like, do you think he has other language of love than?
I think he's a typical, I think, sort of Midwestern farm boy. Mm-hmm. He's from Iowa, and he works so hard. I was telling somebody at work just today that it's hard to live up to him sometimes because he gets up early, he exercises, he takes care of the house, he takes care of the yard, he works really hard, he does a lot for the community. He's just a wonderful person, and so sometimes I feel like, how am I supposed to live up to that? But I think if I need to be more appreciative of him, and I think things go better in our marriage when he's also appreciative of me and he appreciates.
And how can he appreciate you? How he can express that?
And for me, you talk about the flowers. We had an agreement many years ago that I'm sort of, not that I don't love flowers, they're beautiful, but I also said, you know what, you don't have to do that. I just sort of appreciate, spend some time with us, with the kids, with me, with going out to dinner. It doesn't need to be those Hollywood definitions of what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Valentine's Day, honestly, sometimes I have just as much fun if we order a pizza and the family gets together. Mm-hmm. I don't need Hallmark telling me, February 14th is the day that you will be romantic with your husband or your spouse.
That's beautiful.
I don't need that.
I think the language of romance is not something established and gotta be this way. Sometimes we go through ups and downs and different phases in our relationship. Mm-hmm. Like my daughter is still not potty trained, so many times she wakes me, my husband and I 3 a.m, and so I went to speak in North Carolina, and my husband came with me, and we had all this plan. Let's go to this place and let's have a really romantic, nice dinner. And we got in the room and we were so tired. We look at each other, we were like, you know what? Let's order pizza and watch a movie. And I felt love.
Isn't that
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of, when we talk about happy body, I believe if we don't treat our body right, our body's going to be unhappy, and it's going to reflect in a lot of areas of our lives. So romance is associated with how we feel in that moment and how we feel love. Like if he would take me out to that day, I wouldn't, actually my body and his body, like we just want to sleep.
Exactly.
So this language of love, I think the problem is when we are not open to listen to our partners. Like I know a lot of stay-at-home moms that are home every day taking care of the kids, and they just want a break. Like, please hire a sitter and let's do something. And the husband work all day, come home, and he doesn't want to do that. So how can they find that balance? Mm-hmm.
That's difficult. And I remember a few years ago, friends of ours, before we had kids, it was a guy that works with my husband. For their anniversary, he got his wife a night in a hotel by herself. And I thought, well, that's just completely unromantic, and why would he do that? Aww. As soon as I had young children, who I love more than anything, I completely got it, because you need that break. And I think, to me, that's very romantic. They weren't spending the night together in the hotel, but he understood, and she at the time was a stay-at-home mom. He understood what she needed and what she wanted, and to me, that was, nothing's more romantic than getting your partner and understanding what he or she needs. I think that's great.
Wow. Tracy, I think we don't need to truly say anything about this subject, because you just nail, that's what I believe. And listen to women, when we talk with our friends, sometimes it's not about I want flowers, I want diamonds, I want, not flowers, I want him to pay the mortgage, like Andrea shared in our first video. The truth is, we want somebody that is able to sit down and listen to us. And the same, we need to do the same with our partners. And in our everyday crazy life, sometimes we forget and say, honey, how can I express my appreciation to you? Tell me, because I don't know. And sometimes we don't do that.
No.
Like you said, I totally relate. Sometimes I feel like I just want to go to a hotel. That's a great idea. I hope my husband's paying attention. I would love just sometimes to, especially when I'm, PMS. And I just feel like, everything just bugged me and it's bigger.
Yeah.
I would love to get out of the house for even a few hours.
Yeah.
And that would be romantic.
But I think we also have to take the pressure off each other. And there's times when, you know what, you don't need to be perfect, and you can be PMS, and you can be crabby, and you can just need your own space. And I think it's really romantic when you give each other that space where I can tell when he's had a bad day at work. And I'll just, you know what, we don't need to be together. It's perfectly fine. And I'm secure enough in my marriage to say, you know what, he's crabby, I'm crabby, kids are crabby. Let's just sort of relax and not put pressure on ourselves to have this perfect marriage where we spend all this time together.
Which is not perfect. There is nothing more imperfect than trying to be perfect. There is nothing, and especially in relationship, and we have this high expectation sometimes. And I agree with Jay Thomas when he said that, we watch these movies and we believe that that's how life should be. And I think right now we need to learn, and I'm including myself, to see the extraordinary in ordinary things.
Right.
That's our biggest challenge right now for our generation and for relationships, right?
Right. And that's why I love when you talk about Hollywood movies. I love the reality of shows like we talked about Modern Family. And how that's very real.
I can't relate with that show.
Yeah, no, gee, is there a character in that show that's like Chris? I don't know.
I thought I was a regional woman after Modern Family. When I see Gloria, I'm like, it's me, I do the same.
I watched it the first time and I'm like, that's just like Chris, I think. Very much so with that. But it's interesting how they bring up the cultural differences between Gloria and Jay, but also the reality of the Phil and Claire marriage. I love that marriage because she's not always dressed perfectly. She's, of course, in Hollywood fashion, she's gorgeous and skinny and all that, but we won't get into that. But she's also wearing her hair up in a ponytail, and she's running the kids to their activities, and there's just reality there. But you can tell it's a really strong
actually, I'm going to share something really personal. Maybe my husband won't like that, but, he knows me. And
he can shut the
last
off,
week, here I am, Miss Diva, talking about love and romance. So last week I was telling him, let's do something. I just feel like going out and do something special, and here I am talking about love and romance, and I feel that sometimes we are just working and and here I was talking to him with I went to Disney World with my daughter, and when you're in Disney World, everything that has Minnie and Mickey makes sense, right? So I bought these flannel pajamas with Minnie everywhere, and with my hair like this, and I'm like to my husband, let's do something. I need some romance. And he looked at me and said, yeah, I totally feel turned on by.
Well, you get him a matching Mickey Mouse pajamas.
But you know what? That's what I love about relationship. And it's like, it's the reality of... I knew he was saying this coming from love, and he loved me, appreciate even that I have a flannel mini pajamas. And that's the beauty of love. Like, we don't need to be whatever ideal perfect that we have in our mind, and be humble to say, hey, sometimes that's that's what you can get.
And you know what? I just came up with a great Christmas gift for you. Bill don't watch this. Wear your Minnie Mouse pajamas, get your boa on, and do like one of those boudoir photos that we just read about.
Oh,
and it'd be a sexy photo he can have on his desk.
Oh,
how's that? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Welcome to marriage.
There's the sexy wife.
Our next video blog, if you like this blog, guys, write a comment. Yeah, don't send me emails, because the people don't know that you like you feel like a loser that nobody's watching. So hey, I truly, like myself, if I go to therapy, like, hey, our next video blogs, we are gonna be talking about porn for women. What turned women on? Yep.
And it's not X-rated. When she first told me about it, I thought, I can't do this. I grew up in North Dakota. But it's totally acceptable.
Yeah, it's PG-13.
It's PG-13.
What turned women on?
Yes.
Let's see if guys, what turned women on. And I'm going to invite some women to talk about how turn women on. Okay? And if you want to be part of our She Says TV email to my email, chris@naturediva.com. Thank you so much. Thank you,
you.
Tracy.
Thank you.
Bye.